Describe the principles of effective leash and collar handling and explain how improper use can impact a dog's behavior and training outcomes. Answer: effective leash and collar handling involves consistent pressure control. The handler should maintain consistent but light tension on the leash, ensuring the dog understands directional cues without discomfort. Timing of corrections. Corrections should be immediate and aligned with undesired behavior to help the dog associate the correction with the behavior. Positive reinforcement. Leash handling should be paired with rewards when the dog performs desirable behaviors such as walking on a loose leash. Impact of improper use. Physical harm. Harsh jerking can cause neck injuries or stress on the dogs, trickier, particularly with thin collars. Behavioral issues. Improper use can lead to fear, anxiety, or aggression towards the handler or other stimuli. Mistrust. The dog may lose trust in the handler, complicating training and general obedience. A dog in training is persistently pulling on the leash during walks. As a trainer, what steps would you take to address this behavior using a harness and reward-based methods? Answer: steps to address leash pulling: use of a no-pull harness. Select a front clip harness to reduce the dog's ability to pull. This redirects the dog's body when pulling, discouraging the behavior. Stop and go technique: halt immediately when the dog begins to pull. Only resume walking when the leash is slack. Positive reinforcement: reward the dog with treats or praise whenever it walks beside you on a loose leash. Redirection: encourage attention to the handler using verbal cues or a treat lure when the dog starts to focus on distractions. Consistency: practice short, frequent walks to reinforce the behavior gradually. Relevant guidelines: the Humane Society recommends harnesses as a humane tool for leash training. The Pet Professional Guild advocates reward-based training methods as the most effective and ethical approach. Mrs. Torres has a 3-year-old Labrador named Max who barks excessively whenever someone knocks on the door. Mrs. Torres has tried shouting at Max to stop, but the barking persists. As a professional trainer, what approach should Mrs. Torres take to modify Max's behavior? Answer: steps to behavior modification. Identify triggers. Max's barking is likely triggered by excitement or a perceived threat when someone knocks. Desensitization. Gradually expose Max to door knocks at low volumes, rewarding calm behavior with treats. Slowly increase the volume over time. Teach alternative behavior. Train Max to go to a designated spot, e.g. a mat when the door knocks. Use a cue like a place and reward Max for compliance. Counter-conditioning: pair the knocking sound with a positive experience, such as receiving a treat to change Max's emotional response. Consistency and patience. Mrs. Torres must remain calm and avoid shouting, which can reinforce Max's barking. Relevant guidelines: American Kennel Club Act recommends positive reinforcement and desensitization for addressing behavioral issues. The Animal Behavior Society emphasizes gradual exposure to triggers in behavior modification programs. What are the ethical considerations for using corrective tools like prong collars or collars in dog training, and how do professional guidelines address their use? Answer: ethical considerations. Potential harm: these tools can cause physical pain or injury if used improperly. Psychological effects: dogs may develop fear or anxiety associated with the training or the handler. Informed consent: owners must be educated about the potential risks and benefits before using corrective tools. Professional guidelines: AVS-8B discourages the use of aversive training tools, recommending reward-based methods instead. The International Association of Canine Professionals (IAC) supports collar use when trainers are adequately trained and tools are applied humanely. Best practices: use corrective tools only when other methods fail and under professional supervision. Ensure tools are fitted correctly and used according to manufacturer instructions. What are the critical components of an individualized training program for a high-energy breed like a Border Collie? Answer: components of an individualized training program. Assessment of needs. Consider the dog's age, health, and temperament. Exercise and enrichment. Include daily activities that channel the dog's energy, such as agility courses or fetch games. Structured training. Use short, focused sessions with clear goals, such as recall or leash manners. Mental stimulation. Incorporate puzzle toys or advanced obedience exercises to engage the dog's intelligence. Behavioral management. Address issues like excessive barking or jumping with targeted strategies, e.g. teaching quiet or off commands. Relevant guidelines. The Association of Professional Dog Trainers (APT) highlights the importance of tailoring training to breed-specific traits. Explain the concept of progressive training and how it is applied in modifying undesirable behaviors in dogs. Answer: progressive training involves gradually increasing the difficulty of training tasks as the dog masters previous steps. This technique is particularly useful in modifying undesirable behaviors by setting achievable incremental goals that build upon each other. Application and behavior modification. Start with simple commands. Begin with foundational commands such as sit or stay before moving to more complex ones like leave it or come under distraction. Gradual exposure. For behaviors like fear of vacuum cleaners, start by rewarding calm behavior near the machine turned off, then gradually expose the dog to the sound while rewarding calmness. Reinforcement schedules. Initially, use continuous reinforcement, rewarding every correct behavior, and transition to intermittent reinforcement as the dog becomes more consistent. Building durability. Start training in low distraction environments before progressing to busier settings. What are the key considerations when creating a training plan for a dog with separation anxiety, and how would you adjust the plan to suit the dog's needs? Answer. Key considerations. Gradual desensitization. Start by leaving the dog alone for very short periods, gradually increasing the time and rewarding calm behavior during each absence. Environmental enrichment. Provide interactive toys, treats, or puzzles to keep the dog mentally occupied while alone. Safe space. Create a secure area, crate or a quiet room where the dog feels comfortable when left alone. Calming aids. Consider using calming pheromones or anxiety wraps to reduce stress during training sessions. Avoid punishment. Punishing a dog for anxiety-related behavior like barking can increase fear and worsen the problem. Adjustment based on needs. For a dog with extreme anxiety, the trainer may need to go slower, using more frequent short sessions and extending the time spent alone gradually. Some dogs may require medication in addition to behavioral therapy under veterinary supervision. Mr. Parker has a 5-year-old beagle named Daisy who has developed a habit of excessive digging in the backyard whenever Mr. Parker leaves the house. Mr. Parker has tried yelling at Daisy when he returns but has not seen improvement. As a trainer, what would be your recommended course of action to stop the digging behavior? Answer. Recommended course of action. Rule out medical issues. Ensure that Daisy is not digging due to underlying health problems such as boredom or anxiety. Increase physical and mental stimulation. Beagles are high-energy dogs and require mental and physical exercise. Regular walks, interactive play, and puzzle toys can alleviate boredom that leads to digging. Redirection. Instead of punishing the behavior, redirect Daisy to a designated digging spot and reward her for digging there using positive reinforcement. Create barriers. If digging is occurring in certain areas, such as near the fence, consider fencing off or providing a digging pit where it is acceptable. Training leave it. Teach Daisy a solid leave it command to redirect her attention from the digging spot to you. Relevant guidelines. AVSAB advocates using positive reinforcement and environmental management to address behavior problems like digging. How do different breeds' innate traits influence training approaches, and how can trainers tailor a training plan to accommodate these traits? Answer. Influence of innate traits. Working breeds, e.g. Border Collies, German Shepherds. These breeds tend to be highly intelligent and energetic, requiring training that incorporates both physical and mental stimulation. Training plans for these breeds should involve structured tasks such as agility or obedience and consistent mental challenges. Toy breeds, e.g. Chihuahuas, Pomeranians. Toy breeds are often more sensitive and may require gentler handling. Training plans should focus on building confidence and positive reinforcement without overwhelming the dog. Hound breeds, e.g. Beagles, Basset Hounds. These breeds are scent-driven, so training should involve activities that engage their natural instinct to track and sniff, such as scent detection games. Guarding breeds, e.g. Rottweilers, Doberman Pinschers. Guarding breeds require clear boundaries and firm but fair training. Early socialization is critical to prevent aggression towards strangers. Tailoring training. For a Border Collie, incorporate tasks that challenge both intelligence and stamina, while for a Pomeranian, shorter, more frequent sessions with heavy emphasis on positive reinforcement would be ideal. Guard dogs should undergo specialized training to focus their protective instincts on specific tasks, such as service dog work or controlled guarding. Relevant guidelines. AKC encourages trainers to respect breed traits and adapt training to fit the dog's natural behaviors and needs. AVSAB recommends tailoring behavior management techniques to breed-specific tendencies and temperaments. Explain the role of a clicker in dog training and how it can be utilized effectively within a training program. Answer. Role of a clicker. A clicker is a small device that makes a distinct click sound when pressed. It serves as a marker that signals to the dog exactly which behavior is being reinforced. This method is widely used in positive reinforcement training due to its precision and timing. Effective use of a clicker. Timing and consistency. The click should immediately follow the desired behavior to ensure the dog associates the sound with the action, shaping behavior. Clickers are especially useful for shaping behaviors. For instance, if a dog is learning to sit, the trainer can click every time the dog lowers its body, even slightly, and gradually increase the criteria for the clicky. G. Fully sitting. Transition to verbal cues. Over time, trainers should phase out the clicker in favor of verbal cues as the dog learns to associate the action with both the click and the verbal command. Rewarding immediately after clicking. After the click, immediately reward the dog with a treat to reinforce the behavior. Explain the difference between fear-based aggression and dominance-based aggression in dogs. What training approaches should be used to address each type of aggression? Answer: fear-based aggression. Root cause: stemming from insecurity or perceived threats. Behavior: growling, barking, or biting as a defensive reaction. Indicators: typically accompanied by body language such as cowering, tail tucking, or avoidance. Training approach: counter-conditioning. Pair the presence of the trigger with positive reinforcement, e.g. treats or toys. Desensitization: gradually expose the dog to the fear stimulus at increasing levels of proximity or intensity while remaining below the fear threshold. Management: avoid exposing the dog to situations that might provoke the aggression during training. Dominance-based aggression. Root cause: assertion of control or establishing a perceived hierarchy. Behavior: aggressive displays to assert dominance, such as direct staring, standing tall, or growling without retreat. Training approach: obedience training. Reinforce clear boundaries using reward-based methods. Avoid punitive methods, as they can escalate aggression. Resource control: utilize nothing in life is free. NILF principles, requiring the dog to perform commands before gaining access to resources. Consistency: ensure all handlers enforce rules consistently to prevent confusion about hierarchy. Relevant guidelines: American Veterinary Society of Animal Behavior (AVSAB) recommends reward-based training over punishment for aggression cases. Compare fixed ratio reinforcement and variable ratio reinforcement schedules. Which is more effective for maintaining a behavior long-term, and why? Answer: fixed ratio reinforcement. The dog receives a reward after a set number of responses. An example: a treat after every third successful sit effect produces a high rate of response, but may lead to a post-reinforcement pause, a delay before the dog resumes responding. Variable ratio reinforcement: the dog receives a reward after an unpredictable number of responses. An example: a treat after 2, 5, or 7 sits randomly. Effect maintains behavior at a steady, high rate because the dog doesn't know when the next reward is coming. Effectiveness: variable ratio reinforcement is more effective long-term as it prevents extinction. The unpredictability mimics natural reward systems, sustaining motivation even when rewards are infrequent. Relevant theory: Skinner's operant conditioning framework explains how reinforcement schedules impact the strength and persistence of learned behaviors. Maria has been training her dog, Buddy, to stop excessive barking when visitors arrive. Despite using verbal commands and occasional rewards for silence, Buddy continues to bark excessively. Maria feels frustrated and is unsure how to proceed. What steps should Maria take to address Buddy's excessive barking considering reinforcement and extinction principles? Answer: Maria should analyze the cause, determine if the barking is due to excitement, fear, or territoriality. This guides the appropriate intervention. Introduce counter-conditioning. Pair visitor arrival with positive outcomes such as treats for calm behavior. Implement differential reinforcement of incompatible behavior. Dry. Teach Buddy to perform an alternative behavior like sitting quietly, which is incompatible with barking. Avoid reinforcing barking. If Maria inadvertently gives attention, even negative attention, when Buddy barks, this reinforces the behavior. Consistency: ensure everyone in the household follows the same rules to avoid mixed signals. Relevant concepts: extinction. Over time, behaviors that are not reinforced will diminish. Behavioral chains: ensure barking doesn't become part of a chain where barking leads to attention or treats inadvertently. What are the primary causes of regressive house training behaviors in adult dogs, and how should a trainer address this issue? Answer: primary causes: medical issues, urinary tract infections or incontinence, stress or anxiety, changes in environment such as a move or new household members, lack of routine, inconsistent schedules for feeding and bathroom breaks. Solutions: medical evaluation, rule out health issues with a veterinarian, re-establish routine, implement a strict schedule for meals, walks, and bathroom breaks. Positive reinforcement: reward the dog immediately after successful elimination outside. Environmental management: limit unsupervised access indoors and use crate training if appropriate. Relevant guidelines: American Animal Hospital Association (AHA), emphasizes medical evaluations before assuming behavioral causes. What is latent learning and how can it be utilized in dog training? Provide an example. Answer. Definition. Latent learning occurs without an immediate observable behavior change but manifests when motivation is present. Example: a dog observes it's only using a doorbell daily but doesn't react later when motivated by a visitor's arrival. The dog rings the bell to gain attention or access. Training utilization. Use latent learning to teach behaviors passively through exposure. For example, walking a dog around an agility course without requiring performance can help the dog learn the layout and obstacles. Relevant theory. Tolman's cognitive theory of learning suggests animals form mental maps that guide later actions when motivation arises. Explain how to address obsessive-compulsive behaviors in dogs, such as tail chasing or paw licking. Answer. Obsessive-compulsive behaviors (OPS) in dogs, such as tail chasing or excessive paw licking, often stem from anxiety, boredom, or underlying health issues. To address these behaviors, the first step is a veterinary evaluation to rule out any medical conditions such as allergies or pain that may be causing the behavior. If medical causes are eliminated, the next approach involves behavioral modification. This can include redirection, where the dog is taught alternative behaviors incompatible with the compulsive ones, such as fetching or playing with interactive toys. Environmental enrichment is crucial, providing mental stimulation through puzzle toys, new training challenges, and increased physical activity can alleviate boredom and reduce compulsive behaviors. Additionally, desensitization and counter-conditioning can be applied to modify the dog's response to triggers. For example, if the dog exhibits compulsive behavior in response to stress, teaching the dog to relax during stressful situations can help reduce the compulsion. If the behavior persists despite these interventions, professional guidance from a certified animal behaviorist may be necessary. Finally, consistent management and maintaining a routine are essential to prevent relapse and ensure that the dog is mentally and physically engaged. James' dog Max shows extreme distress. Whenever James leaves the house, barking, howling, and even chewing furniture, the behavior has worsened over time. How should James address Max's separation anxiety? Answer. James should begin by implementing desensitization training. This involves gradually increasing the duration of separations, starting with very short periods and slowly lengthening the time Max is left alone. This helps Max become accustomed to being alone without experiencing overwhelming anxiety. Counter-conditioning is another key technique where Max's departure is paired with something highly positive, such as a favorite treat or puzzle toy, so that he begins to associate being alone with something rewarding. Pre-departure cues should also be normalized. James should practice putting on shoes, picking up keys, or any other routine pre-departure behavior without actually leaving. This reduces Max's anxiety about these cues signaling departure. For more severe cases, professional help from a veterinary behaviorist may be required. In some situations, medication may also be considered to help manage Max's anxiety in conjunction with behavioral training. It is essential for James to be consistent in his training and management strategies and avoid punishing Max, as this can exacerbate the anxiety. In some cases, incorporating crate training or a safe space for Max to retreat to while alone can be beneficial. What is the difference between behavior chaining and shaping, and when should each be used? Answer. Behavior chaining and shaping are both techniques used in operant conditioning, but they serve different purposes. Behavior chaining involves linking a series of simple behaviors into a complex action. In this process, each behavior in the chain serves as a cue for the next behavior. For example, teaching a dog to fetch a ball involves multiple steps. Approaching the ball, picking it up, carrying it, and then returning it to the owner. Each step is reinforced individually before it is linked to the next in the sequence. This method is used when a behavior involves multiple actions that must be performed in a specific order. Shaping, on the other hand, focuses on reinforcing successive approximations toward a desired behavior. It is used when the behavior is not yet part of the dog's repertoire. For example, if a dog is learning to sit, it might initially be rewarded for simply looking at the sitting position, then for sitting partially, and finally for sitting completely. This method works best when the desired behavior is complex or not yet naturally occurring. Both methods are valuable, but shaping is ideal for teaching novel behaviors, while chaining is best for complex sequences of already learned behaviors. What are the primary causes of regressive house training behaviors in adult dogs, and how should a trainer address this issue? Answer. Regressive house training behaviors in adult dogs often arise due to several potential causes. One of the primary reasons is medical issues such as urinary tract infections, incontinence, or bladder problems. When a dog experiences pain or discomfort while urinating, it may revert to accidents indoors. A veterinary evaluation is crucial to rule out these health concerns. If health problems are not the cause, stress or anxiety could be factors. Changes in the dog's environment, such as moving to a new home or the introduction of new pets or family members, can lead to regression in house training. Another cause could be inconsistent routines, such as irregular feeding times or missed bathroom breaks. To address these issues, a trainer should first ensure the dog is medically healthy. Once health concerns are ruled out, it is essential to re-establish a consistent routine for feeding, bathroom breaks, and exercise. Positive reinforcement should be used to reward the dog immediately after successful outdoor elimination, creating a strong association between outdoor bathroom breaks and rewards. If the behavior is stress-related, the trainer can help the dog by providing a safe space or retreat and using calming techniques. Lastly, crate training can be an effective way to prevent accidents indoors when the dog is unsupervised, as dogs typically avoid soiling their sleeping area. What is latent learning and how can it be utilized in dog training? Provide an example. Answer: latent learning refers to a form of learning that occurs without immediate reinforcement or visible behavior change, but is demonstrated when the dog has a reason or motivation to perform the learned behavior. This concept suggests that dogs can absorb information passively, and their learning becomes evident later when the appropriate circumstances arise. An example of latent learning in dogs would be if a dog watches its owner walk through a new park but doesn't react. Later, when prompted or motivated by a toy or treat, the dog may navigate the park or follow a path it had observed earlier without explicit training on the route. In dog training, latent learning can be useful when exposing a dog to new environments or situations without immediately requiring performance. This type of learning allows the dog to build a mental map of their surroundings or understand behaviors through passive observation. Trainers can utilize latent learning by allowing the dog to observe training scenarios or environmental changes before introducing the specific behaviors they want to reinforce. By using this method, dogs can learn complex tasks or adjust to new environments without constant reinforcement or explicit commands. How do you address breed-specific behavioral traits in a training program for a working breed such as a Border Collie? Answer: breed-specific behavioral traits are crucial to consider when developing a training plan. Border Collies as working breeds are highly intelligent, energetic, and task-oriented. To address their traits, mental stimulation, incorporate problem-solving tasks, and agility training to keep them engaged. Physical exercise. Provide structured physical activities such as herding exercises or long runs to meet their energy needs. Focus on impulse control. Utilize activities like sit, stay, or leave it to manage overexcitement, a common issue with high-energy breeds. Positive reinforcement. Reward-based training is effective due to their eagerness to learn. Relevant guidelines and laws. The American Kennel Club outlines standards for breed-specific behaviors and appropriate training techniques. Additionally, the Association of Professional Dog Trainers (APT) emphasizes ethical and humane practices in all training regimens. Describe the critical period of socialization in puppies and its impact on long-term behavior. Answer: the critical period for puppy socialization typically spans 3 to 14 weeks. During this time, puppies are most receptive to new experiences. Proper socialization can prevent behavioral issues such as fear and aggression later in life. Key steps include exposure to varied stimuli, gradual exposure to people, other animals, sounds, and environments, controlled interaction, positive interactions to build confidence and trust, avoiding overwhelming situations. Too much stress during this period can lead to negative associations. Scientific basis. The concept of the critical period is supported by behavioral studies, such as those conducted by Dr. Ian Dunbar, emphasizing the role of early learning in shaping temperament. Emily has a 5-month-old Labrador Retriever that is afraid of loud noises, such as thunderstorms and fireworks. She asks for guidance on how to address this fear. What steps should Emily take? Answer: Emily can use desensitization and counter-conditioning techniques to address her Labrador's fear of loud noises. Gradual desensitization. Play a recording of thunderstorms at a low volume while the dog is in a relaxed state. Gradually increase the volume over time. Counter-conditioning. Pair the noise with positive stimuli like treats or playtime to create a positive association. Safe space. Provide a comfortable enclosed area where the dog can retreat during actual thunderstorms. Guidelines. The Humane Society recommends patience and consistency in behavioral modification. Avoid punishment as it can exacerbate fear-based behaviors. What are the key differences in training techniques for high-energy breeds versus low-energy companion breeds? Answer: high-energy breeds, e.g. Australian Shepherds, frequent physical activities, require daily rigorous exercise, mental challenges, engage in activities like puzzle toys and agility courses, structured routines. Consistent schedules prevent destructive behaviors, low energy breeds, e.g., bulldogs, low impact exercises, focus on short walks and gentle play, calm reinforcement, maintain a low energy training demeanor to match their temperament, frequent rest periods, avoid overexertion, relevant guidelines. Ethical training requires understanding breed limitations as outlined by the Certification Council for Professional Dog Trainer E. Discuss the role of reinforcement in overcoming fear-based behaviors in dogs. Answer: reinforcement is critical in reshaping fear-based behaviors. Key strategies include positive reinforcement, reward calm behavior when encountering the fear trigger, avoidance of negative stimuli, ensure the dog doesn't experience overwhelming exposure to the trigger during training, gradual exposure desensitization, slowly increase proximity to the trigger while maintaining a safe distance. An example: if a dog fears bicycles, start at a distance where the dog remains calm and reward them for relaxed behavior, gradually moving closer over sessions. Research basis. Studies by Dr. Sophie Yin highlight the efficacy of positive reinforcement in modifying canine behavior. Jacob's 3-year-old rescue dog Max lunges at other dogs during walks. What should Jacob do to address this reactive behavior? Answer: Jacob should follow a systematic approach to manage Max's reactive behavior. Create distance. Initially, Jacob should keep Max far enough from other dogs to avoid triggering the lunge. This distance can gradually be reduced as Max learns to stay calm in the presence of other dogs. Reward calm behavior. When Max remains calm and doesn't react to the presence of another dog, Jacob should reward him with treats or praise. Positive reinforcement strengthens the desired behavior. Teach an alternative behavior. Jacob should teach Max an alternative, calm behavior like sit well, look at me when he sees another dog. This redirects Max's focus from reacting to other dogs to focusing on Jacob instead. Consistency and patience. Consistent practice is key. Jacob should repeat these steps in different situations and gradually increase the challenge. Relevant guidelines. The Association of Professional Dog Trainers recommends managing reactivity through desensitization and counter-conditioning, which uses gradual exposure to reduce fear and anxiety around triggers. Explain the significance of tailoring training methods to a dog's temperament. Answer: tailoring training methods to a dog's temperament ensures more effective and humane outcomes. Temperament affects how a dog responds to various stimuli, and training should be adjusted accordingly. Bold dogs. These dogs are often confident and independent. Training should focus on setting clear boundaries, consistent rules, and appropriate challenges to avoid dominance-related issues. High-energy breeds may require engaging and stimulating tasks to prevent boredom. Shy dogs. Shy dogs can be more sensitive to environmental changes and may respond poorly to harsh training techniques. A calm, patient, and encouraging approach works best. Shy dogs need reassurance and positive reinforcement to build their confidence. Balanced dogs. Dogs with balanced temperaments may respond well to a combination of structured training and flexibility. Understanding a dog's temperament helps trainers avoid frustration and improve the training process by addressing the individual dog's needs. What are the ethical considerations when training dogs using positive punishment? Answer: positive punishment refers to adding an aversive stimulus following an undesired behavior to reduce its occurrence. While this can suppress behavior, it raises several ethical concerns. Stress and fear. Positive punishment can increase anxiety and stress in dogs, potentially leading to fear-based aggression or mistrust toward the trainer. Temporary effects. Often, positive punishment only suppresses unwanted behavior temporarily without addressing the root cause. This can lead to the dog performing the undesirable behavior when the trainer is not present. Potential for overuse. Excessive reliance on aversive methods may lead to long-term negative outcomes, such as a diminished bond between the dog and handler or learned helplessness. Alternatives. Positive reinforcement is generally a more effective and humane alternative. Rewarding the dog for desirable behavior encourages learning without the negative emotional impact of punishment. Maria's German Shepherd, Bella, frequently barks excessively at the front window. How can Maria manage this behavior? Answer: to manage Bella's excessive barking at the window, Maria should follow these steps. Block visual triggers. Maria can reduce Bella's access to visual stimuli by using frosted film on the window or closing curtains. This reduces the dog's exposure to distractions like people or other animals passing by. Teach quiet command. Maria should teach Bella the quiet command by rewarding her when she stops barking. Consistent training will help Bella learn when it's appropriate to bark and when it's time to stop. Provide mental stimulation. Sometimes excessive barking can stem from boredom or pent-up energy. Maria should engage Bella in mental exercises such as puzzle toys or obedience training to tire her mind out and redirect her focus. Management tools using a crate or a designated quiet space during times of high visual activity can also help prevent barking. Relevant guidelines. The Humane Society advises avoiding punishment for barking as it may increase anxiety. Instead, focus on modifying the environment and using reward-based training. What are the challenges of socializing an adult dog with a history of fear or trauma, and how can these be overcome? Answer: socializing an adult dog with a history of fear or trauma presents challenges, but it is possible with patience and consistency. The key difficulties include deep-seated fears. Fear responses can be deeply ingrained in traumatized dogs, and they may react aggressively or retreat when exposed to certain triggers. Slow progress. Adult dogs may take longer to adjust to new experiences or environments compared to puppies. Rushed socialization can worsen anxiety. Building trust. Fearful dogs often have trust issues, making it challenging to form a connection with their handler. This requires gradual and gentle exposure to new experiences. Steps to overcome these challenges: gradual desensitization. Start with low stress exposure to the feared stimuli, rewarding calm behavior. Slowly increase the intensity of exposure over time. Counter conditioning. Pair the fear triggering stimulus with something positive like treats or play to change the dog's emotional response. Consistency. Regular, positive socialization experiences will help the dog gain confidence.